Hi, today I'm reviewing the NARS Danger Control eyeshadow palette. And really quick, I just want to say I purchase all these products with my own money, so you know you can trust my opinion is what I honestly believe. And if you want to help support the channel, click on the Amazon link below before you make your purchase. So today I'm reviewing the new NARS Danger Control palette, which is kind of described as a holographic eyeshadow palette by some. And it contains 6 shades, which is packaged pretty nicely. And they're supposed to be kind of transforming eyeshadow shades with holographic and glitter finishes. And they're definitely very light. I'm wearing a couple of the colors up by my brow bone, but overall for me, I just didn't think a lot of them were pigmented enough to make a full look out of it. But you can definitely apply these on top of other shadows and get a little more bang for your buck there. So let me go through my criteria and I'll give you my kind of final opinion on it. So overall for the packaging, which is my first criteria, it gets a thumb up for that. It's pretty small, very compact, easy for traveling. Nothing too fancy overall about it, but it's just a decently packaged product. And it's pretty small, so if you travel a lot, it's good for that. But, you know, if you're into eyeshadow at all, you're probably going to want to bring more than just this, especially for a couple darker shades. But it does get a thumb up for that. For the second criteria, which is alcohol, thankfully it does not contain any of that, so it gets a thumb up there. Fragrance, there's no fragrance in this product at all. It's unscented, which gets a thumb up there. And then for the fourth, which is manufacturing location, this is made in the US, so it gets a thumb up for that. And then number 5, which is ease of use. And, you know, I didn't give it a thumb up for that because I thought to make any noticeable impact, you have to add so much of the product. You definitely have to build it up a lot. And definitely to get a full eye look out of this takes a little bit of work. Most of the time, you're probably not going to be able to make a full eye look unless you're going for kind of that no makeup look. So I did not give it a thumb up there, but obviously it's an eyeshadow. But to get a lot of pigment out of it, or to make the most of this, you have to use a damp eyeshadow brush, and that just is a little bit, I don't think with an eyeshadow you should have to always use a damp brush to get the best pigment out of it. You know, a lot of them are like wet and dry. You can use it dry and get a sweep of color, and you can add it wet to kind of give it a big impact, but with this you almost always have to use it damp. So I did not give it a thumb up for there. And then number 6, which is pigmentation, I did not give it a thumb up for that criteria either. So let me give you guys some swatches so you can kind of get an idea of the palette. So if you kind of get a feel for it, those are the colors, and for some reason that purple in the bottom corner has always been very crumbly for me. I'm not sure why the others aren't, but as you can see there, it's not super pigmented, but you know, it does add a little bit of glitter topping if you're using it on top of another eyeshadow, but it's also not holographic like everything else they say is holographic. It's not really holographic either. It almost seems like this palette was like thought out, and then they just failed to execute what they envisioned with it. When you're selling something for $49, it has to be good, you know, because that's a lot of money. And I wasn't even going to purchase this palette, and then I saw it in the store, and I thought, well, I should buy it and review it because people might be thinking of buying it. So I'm glad I can review it for you guys and hopefully save you guys some money, but just definitely doesn't do the trick for me. It does seem like they conceptualized this and then just failed to execute it because it got difficult, or maybe they were thinking of doing something like the Alchemy palette and they just failed to actually do it. So for pigmentation, then I gave it a thumb down. Number 7 is animal testing, and unfortunately NARS sells their products in China. They started doing that recently, I believe in the last year or so. So they get a thumb down for that criteria. performance, I gave it a thumb down as well. It's just, I don't think it's up to NARS standards, in my opinion. Just definitely gets a thumb down for that. Anyway, to be successful working with this, you almost have to use a damp brush, and even then, you're still not going to get the bang for the buck. And then number 9 is price, and at $49 for what you get, it's way too expensive. They've way overpriced this. So I gave it a thumb down there. And then the it factor, I also gave it a thumb down. For me, this just doesn't have the it factor, even though it's got the word holographic in it. It's not holographic. If it was actually holographic, I could maybe give it a thumb up, but this just doesn't do it. And you know, if you look in the reviews on Sephora, they're mixed. But I can't see why anyone, unless they like a no makeup look, why they would review this well. So, but perhaps I'm missing something. It could be, but anyway. So overall, this got a 4 out of 10, which garners a 1 thumb down review. So I'm interested if you guys have had a chance to check this out yet or not. And if so, what your thoughts were. Did you like it? Did you have better results with it than I did? And if so, how did you use it? So leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Feel free to subscribe if you're not already. I come with at least 1 new review every day. And check out nobsbeauty.net. Thank you so much, guys. Hi, this is Sarah from No BS Beauty, and I'm proud to offer you one of my first products, and it is a stainless steel makeup palette, and I've been using ones like these for quite a while, and it makes it a lot easier to mix kind of custom foundation shades, custom serums, custom lip colors. You need something like this in your makeup routine to make things a lot easier. And all the profits from it will go to help the channel, which I'm independent and I purchase all the products with my own money. So definitely all of the profits will go so I can continue to bring you good reviews. But, you know, things I like to use are retinol. Retinol is definitely a good thing to use. But sometimes some of them can be a little too strong. So sometimes I like to mix them with other serums. So I'll use this to kind of custom make my retinol at night. So it's a little bit less irritating when you mix it in with something else. Or another thing you can do is mix in a vitamin C. Some of these can be a little oily or greasy, so sometimes it's nice to be able to mix it in with another serum. So I like to use the Clinique one, and I'll mix this in just a little bit because otherwise sometimes it can be a little too oily. And I'll mix it in, and in the morning I'll apply it all over my face before sunscreen. And another good vitamin C serum I like is the Dermadoctor one, but sometimes using the dropper with that can be a little messy, so sometimes I just like to mix just a little bit in with another serum. I love the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Serum, definitely a holy grail of mine. And I like to mix that in with it as well. Or sometimes before I go to bed, if I've got something else going on the next day, I like to mix in a little bit of tanner, self-tanner, but sometimes if you use it alone, it can get a little too orange or a little too dark. So sometimes mixing that in with another serum makes it definitely a lot better and a lot more moisturizing for your skin as well. So definitely something you can use in your serums or your kind of custom make your own skincare routine by using that and mixing up all these products. So definitely something worth considering there. And I also like to use it to mix in some of my custom foundations. So let me show you that too. Another thing I've been using this palette for is mixing and kind of customizing my own foundation. You can almost create a specific color if you have certain foundations that don't mesh well with your skin tone or even your skin texture. You can almost create your own custom foundation. One foundation I love is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro. However, sometimes I can find it to be a little too drying and almost kind of giving you more of a matte finish. So sometimes I'll mix in a little bit of the Josie Mara and Argan Moonstone drops with it and then use it. And it kind of helps kind of lessen the color and kind of give it a little bit more of a glowy look. Another thing I like to use is mixing in sometimes with oil with a foundation, and sometimes that gives you more of a dewy look. So sometimes I'll mix that in with the Dr. Jart, and it helps give you a little bit more of a glow to it. So sometimes mix in just a little bit in, and you definitely want to be careful with what you're mixing just to make sure that the ingredients are compatible, because certain types of foundations don't work well with certain types of other ingredients, but something to consider, definitely. But you can almost create your own custom look. I love this, but sometimes I feel like I need a little bit of a glow to it, so I'll mix in some of my NYX Born to Glow Illuminator with it. So you can definitely do that. Also, Cover FX makes a great, they're custom cover drops, but you can use these to alter the color of any foundation. So this is great to mix that with. Just give it a couple drops there. And then mix that in with another foundation to make it either lighter or darker. The Ordinary Serum Foundation is great, but I found it difficult to get the exact color. So sometimes mixing the other colors works well. Cover FX also has these new glitter drops, so sometimes it's nice to be able to use this to mix in with either a foundation or just to put it on this. And then you can use a brush to either dip it in and apply it as eyeshadow, or dip it in and apply it onto lips as kind of a lipstick cover. So there's definitely some great options, and definitely love some of Cover FX's custom enhancer drops, but you can use this to mix it in with almost any different type of foundation and add a little bit of color here and there. But definitely using this, and if you use a sponge or a beauty blender, you can get that damp and then just use this to dip it in and apply it. It makes it a heck of a lot easier than trying to do it in your hand, or I don't know where else you would even, maybe the lid of another product, but this definitely makes all of that a heck of a lot easier. So it's definitely something worth picking up. And all of the profits from the sales of this palette will go to support my independent reviews. I purchase all the products myself just so I can give you an honest opinion as opposed to somebody that gets the products for free to review. I personally like to purchase them so I can give you my completely objective review without having to feel like I owe a company anything because they gave me something free. So all the profits will go to help support those reviews.